Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of DevTalks podcast with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering and technology. I just want to say thank you for all the support that was given recently. Thank you for all the new subscribers, all the comments, and all the likes. I really appreciate it. All I'm trying to do is make better content. Hopefully, the video looks better now. I get it, guys. I was in a rush last time, and I had to get videos out and redo my whole setup. I was in a bad spot. Now these are new videos, so hopefully these videos come out better, clearer, and all of that, and we can just dive into it. This week we talking about some of the workforce and the job market in tech. So without further ado, let's dive in. Don't for, we're gonna be reacting to her video. What's her name again? Pooja Doots. Hopefully I said that right, but the original video will be linked in the description, like it always is. I'm gonna always try to do that. And without further ado, let's just dive in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out a great amount. Trying to get to 500 subscribers. And let's go.
I've applied to literally hundreds of jobs at this point, as you can imagine.
You feel like, what am I doing wrong?
It's still really tough to get interviews right now.
It's still very tough.
If you can't find a job right now, you're not alone. We keep hearing that software engineering is supposed to be the safest bet out there. And yet, most people I know haven't even been able to land a tech interview.
There's so much competition out there, and you just really gotta stand out.
In this video, I'm going to share some valuable advice from aspiring software engineers that I got a chance to sit down and chat with. They had some great insight about dealing with rejection, staying motivated in a tough job market, and even how to stand out from the competition. The first piece of advice came from Aaron. This is Aaron. He's a bootcamp grad who's applied to over 700 jobs, most of which never got back to him.
My name's Aaron. I was a teacher in a former life of martial arts. Worked with kids with autism as well. And, I was a recent boot camp grad, so new to tech. And, I've applied to literally hundreds of jobs at this point, as you can imagine. But I've had also wins as well. I'd say probably a greater than average. But yeah, it's definitely difficult to get responses other than, we were moving forward with other candidates.
There are a lot of people like
I can agree on the aspect of it, you don't get responses. I mainly can agree for that, especially if you don't have experience. So in Aaron's example here, that was his name, he wasn't in the tech field at all. He wasn't in the tech field at all going into tech. And he tried to get in, and most of the times, we're going with a different candidate, and we're not hearing any responses. I experienced this when I tried to get my first and only internship, because I got a job offer from that internship. So everything ended up working out at the end. But when I was first applying, there was a lot of things that I didn't know. I didn't know what time of year you were supposed to start applying. So most of the positions were filled. And then another thing is, I'm applying in spring, trying to find a summer internship and things, trying to get my skills better, trying to get some experience and that. There wasn't really much you can put on your resume besides the projects you worked on. But I learned from somebody else, his name's Pirate Software. He said that if you work on certain projects and stuff, especially for game designers. I have a friend that's a game developer. He's developed several games, and however long it took him, he can use all that as years experience on his resume. So certain stuff you can use as experience starting out, and I never knew to look at that way, but if you have certain complex projects that especially you've worked on for a long period of time, you could use that as your experience. A lot of people don't have experience, and if you don't have experience in besides your school projects and stuff, it's going to be hard to get a job, an internship. Especially an internship alone, it's hard to get an internship. Trust me, I have friends that even graduated college and try to get internships out of college. It is a difficult thing to do, very much so. But some friends, hey, we get offers and things. And what's the difference between the two? What does your resumes look like? What do you have on it? How are you presenting yourself in the interview, which is a big thing when you finally do get the interviews. How you present yourself is such a huge thing. Not even funny. Are you eager to learn? That's my number one tip to give people in interviews, especially if you're new. Be eager to learn and pick up stuff. If you're young, getting out of college, be eager to pick up new things and want to work on as much stuff as possible. But that's probably why he had so much struggles. I want to see more of the people who get laid off and, hey, we're trying to get back in this market, because a lot of tech jobs, what they're not doing now is hiring entry level positions. And if they're hiring at a normal software engineering level position, the competition is crazy. We overinflated the amount of engineers during COVID and when everybody was home and stuff, that when all of them got laid off, now you have all these good engineers that don't need training, most likely, that can just come in and just work. And that's really the main struggle right there, especially people trying to get new jobs, especially entry level people are feeling it the worst. So yeah, let's continue.
Like Aaron that don't come from a traditional computer science background, which can sometimes make it harder to get your foot in the front door. If this is the case for you, you really want to optimize your strategy by making it as easy as possible for recruiters to actually see your resume. This means you might need to do some application hacking. Okay, that sounds super intense, but I didn't mean...
It's kind of funny because I just said something along the lines of application hacking, but to get yourself to have some kind of experience, that's... Maybe she's going to say the same thing.
Hacking in the bad way. Just the friendly, borderline, increase your odds type of hacking. So first off, pick the right jobs to apply to.
Definitely certain websites I felt like I got better responses from as well. Like LinkedIn is a tough one for me. Like, I don't know that I've really gotten much except for maybe one, maybe two jobs. So I think other platforms do a better job as far as, maybe just filtering the amount of people, probably so you're competing a little bit less. And also probably applying for jobs that are like more recent, or maybe you shouldn't apply to jobs that are posted 10 days ago, 20 days ago.
Not only
LinkedIn, personally, I feel like the best time to get a job from LinkedIn is when you already have a job. On my LinkedIn alone, I am constantly reached out to for positions and stuff like that. I feel like when you're not looking at all, that's when you get all the people reaching out to you on LinkedIn. Hey, apply to this, apply to that, and everything else. When starting out, when I was just applying to internships and things like that, just going through LinkedIn, didn't hear nada, nothing, because you don't have it on your skills or anything. And the best thing that worked for me, another pro tip right here. Our school used an app called Handshake that was dedicated towards our school. Use that. If your school has something like Handshake to apply to jobs and things, I'm telling you, most people who I know got internships, use that directly through your school. Go to the school events for applications and stuff like that, the school career fairs, and go to Handshake and apply through Handshake. Handshake's the best thing. I'm telling you. Right now, do that.
did Aaron pick platforms that he was getting responses from, but he was only applying to the jobs that had the least amount of applicants. And he was trying to apply to these jobs as soon as they were posted. This is really important to note because it is a numbers game at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you have amazing skills, it just matters if you have the best skills compared to everyone else that's in the pool of applicants that are applying. When I was applying for big tech jobs back in the day, yep, that's me, I had to use similar tactics to get my foot in the door. One strategy that I accidentally stumbled upon was applying to the Microsoft office in Atlanta. I had lived in Atlanta for 6 months, so a recruiter actually reached out to me to see if I'd be open to joining that location in Atlanta rather than going to the Redmond office. Something as tiny as location can make the biggest difference. I found out that the competition was a lot more intense in a place like Redmond than it was in Atlanta, especially because the Atlanta office was opening for the first time. In Atlanta, they were still searching for talent in that area because it wasn't a big tech hub yet. So look for opportunities wherever you can find one. It's the sum of all small opportunities that will eventually give you your big break. However, it is important to acknowledge how difficult it is to still get a job. You may already be using a lot of these strategies and still not finding much of anything. Just take it from Saloni. She's applied to over 2,000 jobs and she's only gotten 7 responses back, despite having a really solid experience.
So I've been actively applying for jobs, I think over a year now. It is actually very difficult to get an interview right now. And what I've been doing is I've been applying online, I've been networking, and I printed out my resume. I've been going to career fairs and giving out my resumes. I'm trying to market myself basically I have applied to around, I think, 2,000 jobs, but I am not getting interviews.
So this can be the most unmotivating part of the process. Spending the majority of your effort to apply for jobs, interview, and even create multiple versions of your resume without actually getting a job. It's exhausting, I know. I've been there. I remember feeling so hopeless when this happened to me. Like I wasn't good enough to do anything. And now I know I wasn't actually the only one.
You feel like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not getting where I should get? And it is like driving on a dark road. Like, you just have to drive. You don't have to think too much about it. Maybe, hopefully, I'll land somewhere. And something that I also want to share is that during my informational interviews, I talked with people who graduated in the 90s, 80s. And I also talked with people who graduated 2 years ago. And surprisingly, everybody told me that the job market was so bad when they were graduating. It was so difficult for them to get their first job. And I think none of them are lying. It's just difficult to get your foot into the market.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just a experience thing. When it comes to like getting your first position and stuff, it's definitely an experience thing, because one of the biggest things that I noticed also after I got my internship, when I got my offer, I wanted to weigh it against other like companies and things. So I applied more to some entry level positions and things along that line. I applied at the August to September, October time frame. That's really the heat, the warm spot. That time frame of like the end of summer, early fall is really when you apply to like those tech positions, especially when you're getting your foot into the door, because a lot of internships are ending. They're going to have positions open and things along that line. They're going to start the internship application process at that point too, so they can already solidify who's coming in the next summer. So when I got my offer and I was weighing it, I added my updated information to my resume, and I got a whole bunch of other tips. I could do a whole video on my personal channel about I'm going to write that down actually, about how to sort out your resume for getting tech jobs, and how I talk to like my manager and some of my coworkers and skip levels and stuff about making resumes better and what knowing what to put on it and how to word it. But having that first internship experience gave me way more interviews, literally, and then it's just interview prep, and then you just got to be skilled enough at that point. So that is definitely an experience thing. Like, it's hard. It's really not that easy when you're first starting out. But when you get your foot in the door, you start meeting people at your co-working spot. I can do a whole long video on this one topic alone. So if you guys want to have a whole video about how to get into tech and all of that, and from my experience, then let me know in the comments down below.
And this is something I tell myself, that you just have to keep going and just take help. Just go for therapy. Please go for therapy.
And she's right, honestly. We have to stop telling people the narrative that getting a job used to be a breeze. I got my first software engineering job in 2018, and trust me, it was not easy. I even had my school's career fair at my disposal, but it was still really difficult to get hired at the time. So what does one do when your chances are really slim for getting hired? Aaron, another Aaron, said it best.
Definitely, just going back, this grit, just keep applying, because that's all you realistically can do. If you're not getting interviews, maybe spruce up your resume, try to reach out to more recruiters, engineers on the companies you want to work with, see if you can get a referral like that. That could boost your chances. I would say you gotta go times 100 to really even be able to get that first interview or such. There's so much competition out there, and you just really gotta stand out.
You just have to keep moving forward at the end of the day. It can be a tough process and it can harden you to the job market, but connecting with others that have similar experiences to you will help you cope with rejection. You're not going through this alone, and you don't have to. Eventually, things will get better and jobs will start opening up again. You just have to hold on to hope. I know you can do it. I believe in you guys. Oh, and if you're interested in hearing more about software engineering content, feel free to check out my latest video. And with that, good luck.
Hey, so go give her a like and comment and subscribe to her channel. That was a good video, actually. But yeah, like everything in that video, like people are going through this, and with all the layoffs and the market correction, with all the jobs and positions, this stuff's going to happen. It's going to happen whether you believe it or not. It is literally a numbers game. It's a personality game. How do how do you carry yourself? How do you do all this different kind of stuff? I'm literally telling you, there's a lot that goes to it. There's literally a lot that goes into applying, doing interviews. I even heard stories of people who can get interviews, but they never got offers. And that's a whole nother level on its own. That's just a whole other level. I don't know. I can only talk from a tech standpoint, being a software engineer myself, but any other job markets, let me know how that's going for you. How hard is it? How easy is it? Because I'm not working in them fields, so I don't like talking about stuff that I have no experience in. I can only assume and contemplate on how stuff is going. I assume stuff's tough for everybody, but hey, if you're struggling, prayers up to you. I hope everybody's doing good, and good luck with getting new jobs. Now, if you have your job, make sure you have another one lined up before you just willy-nilly leave. If you get laid off, prayers to you as well too. But thank you guys for tuning into another episode, another video this week. Hope you guys have a great week. See you next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe again, and share it to all your friends and people. Remember, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers or 1,000. We're just trying to grow and just trying to bring out more content for you guys. So thank you. Really appreciate it. Peace.